Welcome to Stars Podcast, your growth mindset mecca. We are all about self-leadership principles here at Stars Podcast. Our guests come from all over the world with very unique stories of how they hacked their way into success. As you'll quickly find out, nothing happens overnight. And as always, enjoy the journey. Hey guys, welcome back. This is Ron Jordan over at Stars Podcast coming at you with another episode. Coming at you today at Rocinante Studios in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. Today we have a guest with us. You guys all know him as a fellow VeeFriend, a fellow GOO owner, and believe it or not, the number 5 GOO owner, Sal Diguardia. What's going on? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing good, Ron. Thank you so much for having me, man. This is a blast.
Of course. I'm so excited. We've been going back and forth with schedules and calendars, and we had a in-person meetup and still couldn't get it done. But here we are on Zoom.
It's fantastic. I don't mind it. It would have been cool to do it in person. Like I would have loved to have had you up here to the house and the studio, but you guys had a packed schedule and good news. Brielle did amazing while she was here in Phoenix.
She showed out.
That was pretty cool, man. Yeah.
And you guys ended up coming. You and Amanda came out and supported, and we had Gatorades and soft pretzels and sat there for hours on end and watched a Taekwondo competition, which I have to hand it to you. Those things are not easy to sit through, especially as you sit there all day long and have to endure that. But it was a lot of fun, and I'll tell you what, the energy was unbelievable in that place.
I was fascinated. I mean, truly, I know it's a long day and it's a lot of just kind of waiting around for the event to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole process was fascinating. There's plenty to watch. There's lots of competition to watch and folks warming up. It was fun. It was fun to see some of the, I don't want to say seniors. We'll say the more experienced folks doing some of their warm-ups, and you could tell like there's a point where like stuff, gets a little tight and
they need they're like a diesel engine. They take about 15-20 to exactly. Really get warmed up.
But it's fun. It is fun to watch. And I don't mean from a laugh, haha perspective.
Of course,
like it really is just it's enjoyable to be a part of it. And thank you so much for carving out time and just for allowing us to kind of witness and be a part of and cheer Brielle on. And it was amazing.
It was our absolute
third
pleasure.
In the world.
Third in the world, baby.
Third
yeah.
in the world.
It's hard to believe that happened. But enough about Brielle. Let's get into Sal. This is all about you today. So
let's talk more about you.
Yeah, I would love to, as we all know, I love talking about me. However, today is about Sal, and I do want to get into. I'd like to start off the show. I like to go chronological order, but I do just want to jump into, what was your introduction to the crypto space in general? What's your introduction to VeeFriends, or you could even go back as far as you want to, your connection to Gary Vee?
Absolutely. So I found out about crypto probably, like most folks did. You kind of heard rumblings like early 20-teens. And I think it was about 2014, 2015. It was my brother-in-law who's office rocker, and that's okay. Love him to death. But Adam, kind of introduced me at least to a couple ideas. Bitcoin, of course, was one of them. Ethereum, I think, was the other one we were looking at. And I started kind of finding out, there's Litecoin, there's other different variants, and that was really my first intro. And at the time, I started kind of trying to entertain the idea with Amanda. She wasn't having any part of it. So Amanda, my wife, she's my ride or die, my thoroughbred, my partner. But there are some things that she's said unequivocal no's to, and that was crypto in 2015. I think if I'm right, I went back and looked at the chart, and we were at the time I had proposed to her, hey, let's maybe throw like $1,000 at it. And I think Ethereum was at like $10 a coin.
Oh, that's a 2020 ouchie.
Oh.
So let me ask you this. What was and I know the conversation is different for everybody. However, when you presented that, what was your thought process to, like, why did you want to get into it?
That's probably why she said no. Because all I saw, right, was dollar signs. Hey, this is going to be huge. No promise of anything, no research. And so her immediate response was, I don't feel good about that at all. I wouldn't buy a business without researching it. I wouldn't buy products for the home without research. She didn't buy a food ninja without researching it first and finding out which air fryer is the best. So why would she jump, and say okay or sign off on crypto? So that was initially that was it. It was, it'd be interesting to make a quick buck or a long-term buck or whatever it is. And without the research and really understanding what the difference is between the coins and the blockchain and everything else that's involved with it, it was a non-starter. So 2017, fast forward a couple of years, I had a horrible 2011 or 2012 Dell Inspiron laptop with like an i3, 4 gigs of RAM. And I thought, along with my brother-in-law again, who tried to talk me into it, we were going to do some mining and realized how incredibly hard that is to pick up 0.00000017 of anything. And so that was quickly quashed. That lasted 3 days. And that was it. And again, it was that thought of, man, wouldn't it be great though? Now Ethereum's at $100 a coin. Now Bitcoin's at like 3,000. And gosh, this would be a really interesting time to get in now that it's kind of proven out the last couple of years, right, sweetheart? And again, the answer was no, because I didn't do the research. I didn't look into it farther than I tried to do a little bit of mining, had no clue what I was doing, scared about even setting up a wallet. But that freaked me out. And so I kept it all on a totally separate profile, right? Tons of security for Windows and all that stuff and all the updates.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just didn't happen. So following Gary probably started around the same time. So around like that 2015, 2016 mark is really when I found Gary and started following him. A couple other folks too, but he primarily was one of the guys that stood out from because I was tired. Man, I had gone through at that point about 10 years of my divorce, high conflict in just everything from custody to visitation to decision making, money, behind on child support, in and out of jail after my divorce was first finalized. Like just so many issues that it was 10 years that I was just exhausted. And I found Gary, and Gary was one of the first guys that was like my first cheerleader going, listen, man, you still got gas in the tank. Let's go.
Yeah.
Still got plenty of time. I'm like, nah, I don't think so, man. 40, whatever that was, right? 42, 43. And, but I kept listening, kept following, liking everything and commenting all the time. And some of the little challenges like on Instagram, like the thank you challenge a few years back, stuff like that. But I've never really been consistent on social media at all. And even in and out of the broadcasting business. So that was a bunch of years ago, but still.
But isn't it interesting? Yeah. It's interesting to see that engagement part of it. Because whenever I have found that when you find these inspirational people, we'll say, or these gurus of any nature, the more, because you felt down and out at that point, like you felt like
totally broken,
just like burnt. But at that point, Gary was still able to get you engaged, to re-engage into life. And that's the part to me that is one of those things that it's a difference between somebody trying to take your money and somebody trying to help you, is the engagement part of it. And I love 100%. That piece. Yeah. So you got engaged with Gary, and what happened from there? So you're doing these challenges and you're doing all of this stuff, and then it's 2017, 2018. Are we there yet?
Yeah, so that period, that kind of 2-3 year period into 2018. What was interesting is I was starting to learn more just about the situation I was in with the divorce and estrangement and alienation with the kids and non-communication. And I found she's the top reunification coach on the planet, Dorsey Pruder, who's since become one of my besties. She too was one of those people that I was looking to for some guidance, like to help me figure this out. Like I'm tired, I'm beat down. At this point too, I'm paranoid. I'm like, I know the ex-wife's got a PI down the street waiting to see what I buy from the grocery store. The blinds are closed, the door's locked. The door to the garage is locked, right? Just over the top paranoia, hearing noises in the backyard, like, who was that? Was that a PI?
Is
Was
that
that somebody
just
trying to break him
because
out?
you were afraid that she was going to damage your character so you couldn't see your children? What, like, why the
Yeah.
paranoia? Was that
And
exactly why?
yeah, that was exactly why. And the more that I got involved with Dorsey and her coaching, she has there's probably a few hundred of what we like to call the flying monkeys that circle around, and they're threatening to, tear the scarecrow apart and pull his stuffing out. And that's all it is. It's idle threat, and they can't really ever really do much other than that. They tried once or twice to just make some noise at the courthouse and different hearings and that kind of stuff. But getting involved in her space with coaching other parents how to go through it, really receiving the coaching from her at the same time, and then learning about the whole dynamic and how it relates psychologically was very eye-opening. But at the same time, her flying monkeys just saw, I guess, in me a new target, and my ex-wife aligned with them on the DL, and the rest is history. So they came after me, and then I spiraled again. So I had
Right.
already kind of spiraled into I took a 3-month leave from work, did some work with therapy, and that was in 2015. I did it again in 2018. It was the beginning of 2018. I took beginning of 2019, I actually took another 3 months off of work. I had some stuff go down with my dad at the end of the year before, with finding out he had lung cancer, and it was stage 1. And good news, we got ahead of it early, but just a lot.
Yeah,
at
that's
once.
like a culmination of so many things.
Yeah.
Of man, and it almost seems like at a time in our lives, we always seem to have things just pile.
Yep.
And if you're not equipped with the right skill set to deal with those things, or have some sort of coach or liaison like Dorsey was to you, and a support system in that respect, man, is that difficult. Man, is that difficult to navigate through and just maintain that composure through it all.
I completely shut down. That was the punchline. So both times, like that 2015 era, and then the beginning of 2019, I went radio silent with everybody, friends that I've had for years, family, and locked myself in the house. Pulled the curtains, didn't go out, didn't talk to anybody, was not engaging in the way that I really wanted to, and that was really frustrating. I had already attempted to maybe start something on social media, messing around with YouTube a little bit. And same thing, I felt like, if this is what's going to happen, and at the time it was so overwhelming, it's so small, Ron, looking back, like, who cares what 300 people think, right? And that's part of Gary's message also. That one took a while to sink in. I don't think I had heard that one yet really clearly before that point, but it affected me to the degree that I just withdrew completely, isolated. And Dorsey finally just rang my bell one day, and she was like, dude, what are you doing? Stop spinning. You're spinning in your shit. Stop spinning. And good news, that was kind of the beginning of a reawakening. Fast forward to this year. So then May of 2011, or 2021.
I'm like, what? Did we
yeah,
go back in time, Sal? Like, this year?
No, I apologize.
Shoot.
This year, which is 2021.
Yes.
I heard Gary chirping about, hey, get your ETH ready, get your ETH game together. And I was like, yeah, but Amanda's already said no twice. I can't really even think about that right now. Stuff going on at work, and doing great stuff there. And then I got hit with I went in for what I thought might have been COVID. It wound up being whooping cough.
Oh gosh.
but my employer gave us the time off. They were very, very mindful of what we needed to work through some of the COVID stuff. So anybody that had any symptom that even smelled like COVID, just take care of it. Don't come back until you feel better, period. That's it. Paid, you're good. And so I did. So I took advantage of it. And as I'm surfing around and hanging out on YouTube, and all of a sudden it was one of the Instagram posts where he's holding up, or no, they popped up Patient Panda, and like, this is my Mickey Mouse, this is my my Bugs Bunny. That was the moment that I was like, oh crap, something's going on. Like, this is bigger than whatever I thought was happening. It's not just crypto. or just another, sales pitch. Like this, there's something here. So I immediately jumped in the Discord and jumped on veefriends.com, trying to find out what the hell is going on, and got sucked right in. And that was, whatever that was, April 28, 29, 30, somewhere in there,
right,
a week before the launch. And I'm like, oh crap, I have no crypto. I have no wallet. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I don't have a way to transfer any money. What am I going to do? Started panicking and, starting the process to get all that set up. And
it's funny that you mentioned that you were, it's funny you mentioned that you were sick during that time, because typically I wouldn't have time either to sort of dive into these things. I was sick as well during like the 2 weeks. Yeah, I come down with this just really nasty cough and I felt like crap. And I took a week off because you know how much I train, and I took a whole week off from training, and I was able to dive in as well. And that's where I was like, hey, Alissa, like we need to figure this out.
Right.
There is, because before that, I was already listening to a lot of the podcasts that he was putting out there, because he was talking about like the Golden State Warriors offering access to their players and these things. And I'm like, this is what he's going to do. Like, this is what he's going to do. He's telling us exactly what the roadmap is in these little tidbits of information he's pushing out. So we were listening to the podcast together on these little road trips we were taking on, even before I got sick. And then I got sick, and then I was like in the Discord. You and I had connected early on there in the Discord, like just by happen chance. And like, boom, 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 it just started to click, just like you said. So like, okay, so you're in the Discord now, you're understanding. So you present this to Amanda, how? Like, because this is round 3,
dude, this is the 3rd time.
You want to talk about sweaty palms?
I listened to some of the videos that Gary was doing that week, specifically the week before launch, right? And really listening and really paying attention to the Discord, to his messaging. And finally it clicked. It was like, oh, I get exactly the same thing for you, right? Like, I get it. This is going to be not just currency. This is going to be social currency at like a high level at some point. And it may not be tomorrow, but it's coming. And this is that moment. And what Gary has established, the way I explained it to Amanda, I said, it would be super easy for Gary to go to Zuck and whoever else, right? Cuban and the rest of them, and put 20, 30, 40, 50 million together and go ahead and launch the project without any influx of cash from any, normal average Joe like us, right? What he decided to do instead was go with the NFT project and give the working man, it's a little bit pricey, but it's achievable, doable, to actually be a part of a project that was not only going to benefit us in the long run, but also give him some capital to get some things done, to take that next step, to build the IP, to go buy the jets, and the rest of the story. So this is, that was what I was trying to explain to her. I don't think she got it the first time. So the first response was, get this, you'll appreciate this, because we've all heard it. It's your money, do what you want.
Ooh.
That was
So she was like, she was sort of on the fence about it. She was like, I kind of get it. You seem like you get it. So I'm trusting you to move it forward.
I think it's the first time. Like, it's no, she's trusted me on big stuff before. Like, hey, let's move to Ohio. Like, that sounded like a good idea, to start brand new jobs and her take a support job that she knew nothing about, but wound up excelling at. But so it was one of those moments of, okay, she really does. She trusts me to do it. She's not going to give me any cash. So I had to like piece together, how do I try to outpace how quick Ethereum is rising, and leverage that to be able to put together enough cash to buy a token. It wasn't working. And I finally was getting ready to throw my hands up. We're now into launch. And that was the first little giveaway that he did. He started talking about, hey, I'm going to give some away. And we found out how many. Like, he's pulled, he's held back 1,200 tokens. We're like, oh, this is amazing. There's, maybe 40, 50,000 active, folks in the Discord in and out, and 100,000 online. And that's that's achievable. That actually might happen. But but nobody knew, right? We didn't know if it was going to be like jumping through hoops or what little things he was going to have us do. And he kept having us go like, here, go like this tweet. Here, go retweet this. Here, go comment on this IG post. Here, go do this. Go do that. And it was weird, right? Because it kind of kept going and going and going. We're like, where's this going? Where's this?
How far away is the carrot?
Right? Exactly. I don't even smell the carrot.
Yeah.
And that Tuesday night, man, he got on Discord. He said, you know, he started with his typical like, hello, right? And like, oh my gosh, it's Gary. And everybody goes nuts. And through the course of the night, started onesie twosies, like these announcements that he actually recorded a video. It's like, all right, here's the first one. Was it Mix? Yeah, Mix 1, 2, 3. Congratulations, you won. What did she win? The Otter. And
I honestly can't remember.
So. And then he said, oh, and I also gave one of my tokens to. He gave a token to, I think it was Brandon. So somebody close to him, right? Somebody,
yeah, like one of his best friends.
Yeah, and then Anna, and then you know, silence, right? The hush comes over the crowd. We're waiting. Where everybody's in anticipation. Second one, Magic Mike, the Oak Monster. Congratulations, right? And it's the video and the whole thing. And then he said, I think he just posted a picture, or no, it was at the end of that video. He said, oh, and I also gave one to Andy. So he gave one to Andy, one to Brandon, and then Anna and Mike. And we thought that was it. And then boom, it's like a few minutes later, and there's all that frenzy around the first two that I wasn't even paying attention to what was happening in the chat. And I happened to get up. And I came back and I saw, congratulations, Sal, woohoo, blah, blah, blah. And my name like flowing, like what just happened? It can't be that. It couldn't have been that easy. And it, what, you know, there was nothing easy or hard about it. It just is, right?
Yeah. But, you were tapped.
And that feeling of like, holy cow, what's going on? And going back through the messages now, I'm trying to get the Discord to stop like reloading so that I can see what actually happened. And it's Gary, and it says my name. It's got my little handle at Sal Diguardia right at the top over the video. And I'm like, okay, is that really part of it? Or is that a different message? I don't even understand Discord still at this point. I'm trying to figure it out. And I click on the video and it's Gary, and he says, all right, Sal. And I was like, holy shit. Oh my God. Like 10 times. Nobody was in the house. They were all out back actually. So nobody heard it. And I thought, okay, now it's even weirder because there's no response from anybody in the home. Is it the rapture? Am I dreaming? Did I hit my head? Something had to have happened that this isn't real, right? And I played the video again, and did he actually say Sal? Did he say Hal? Did he say maybe Val?
Yeah, you're just not accepting it.
It can't be me. No, yeah, it just didn't, it wasn't computing. And finally, I forget what it was. It was like a direct message or two had just come in, and I clicked on it, and it said, Sal, they're looking for you, or Gary's looking for you. And I was like, holy crap, this actually happened. So I ran outside to tell Amanda and show her the video. I couldn't even say anything. I was like, here,
yeah,
play. And she's like, oh my God, you won one. And so now she's bought in, by the way. At that moment is when everything changed. And we formed our partnership, which was really cool. But now Gary's direct messaging me saying, Sal, ? Sal, ? But it's been like 10 minutes. So I'm like, oh crap, what if I don't respond in time?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, oh my gosh, I'm here. Thank you so much. Oh my God, this is life-changing, right? All the stuff. And I'm like, I can't, right? I can't say thank you enough, brother. Oh my God. And was it that night that he did the Q&A? I think it might've been. It was at the end of that night, or maybe the next night, that he did the Q&A. I was like, bro, they pulled me up like right away. I was like, I don't get it, but thank you. And he's like, no, man, congratulations. And how does it feel? And what's really interesting is he mentioned something about the Tremendous Tiger that night. And I didn't catch it. I didn't understand it. And later on, we were talking about it. Like, was this really all random? Did Gary maybe just not do this as random as we think. And somebody, I think, let it slip at one point that's precisely why he gave Magic Mike the oak monster, and that's precisely why he gave Anna the otter, and that's why he gave me the tiger. Was those traits are what he believed would be a really cool gift to say, here I've been watching, and here's what I've seen. So it was really cool to kind of pair that up. And then the rest is history, man. That Sunday night, he did, I don't know, 20 or 30 that he gave away, and showed up in the clubhouse that night when Nikki and I were hosting. And so that's twice now that I got to talk to Gary in the first week. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Crazy, like just crazy opportunity. And it's not all about that. I think it's just the bigger story is the community that was built, the change that it's had for so many people to really get out and do some things that they want to do creatively, technology wise, with the NFTs themselves, right? And learning that piece. It's been so incredible to watch every piece of the journey. And then for me to know that, not only did I come from that place a couple of years ago where I was just shut down to this last 95 days, that an opportunity for me to actually do some of the stuff that I feel comfortable doing, at least my wheelhouse, which is talk, radio, even though I haven't made a lot of sense today. I've been all over the place, so I apologize.
No, absolutely.
So
You've made
scattered, but
tons of sense, man. It's all good. Absolutely.
It's been so cool. It's just been such a cool ride.
This is something that Posty said the other night too, was like, I didn't realize how depressed I was until VeeFriends. Like, I didn't realize how not engaged I was until VeeFriends.
Right.
Because how engaged, I mean, even myself to a certain extent, and not to put this on you, but because I didn't know you before VeeFriends, but
right.
It seems like there's a lot of happiness that's coming out of being engaged in this community that wasn't there beforehand. And for it to happen to you at such a unique time in your life, coming out of those darker times, it's like, it's so much sweeter. It's so much sweeter at that point.
Yeah.
Because it's like, damn it, I persevered through it. I got shit on again, and I persevered again, and I felt, then I started closing the blinds again, and there was just a little bit of sunlight coming through, and then bam, you get this opportunity. You heard something on Instagram. You know what I mean? And that's why I always tell people whenever they think that they're going to put out content and then they're like, I don't know. I said, do it. You have no idea who you may affect by putting it out there. It might be one person, it might be a million people, but it's so important for us to get our messages across, because just like your story today, who knows? Because look at all of the people that you have had such a positive impact on just in these last 95 days, me included. I have found you to be just a beacon in our community. Absolutely. And I'm glad, and I'm so happy that you were given that tremendous tiger. So happy.
Man. God, thank you. That means so much, Ron, because it really was of all the content, right? I mean, Gary's put out, I want to say millions of hours of content at this point. I don't know. It could be. And all the other influencers that I've followed. And it's not a lot. It's restricted to a few select few. But it's that one. It really was. It was that one post. It's all the other posts along the way to say, just don't take yourself out of the race. Just please stay in the game. At least just stay in the game. Don't completely take yourself out of the race. And because there were those moments. There's been the moments, man, that I've struggled.
I got chills, man.
Yeah. And those moments of I'm ready to go home, man. I don't care if it's crosstown bus, like just like I'm not going to do it myself at this point. There was a time, right, that I might have, but and that's maybe a story for another time. The time the SWAT team came to visit.
Oh, no. We can go right there. We could go right there right now if you'd like to. And we can rewind. We can rewind a little bit, because we've gotten to the fuzzy feeling right now, but we did gloss over those 5-6 years that were tough. And I think it'd be important for some people to hear. You don't have to get nitty gritty if you don't want to, but share what you want to, and sort of wherever you want to start that.
Yeah, man. So my dad grew up son of an alcoholic. My grandfather drank the only 6 months he was ever sober. You might appreciate this. He was the 1939 flyweight champ in boxing.
There you go.
that
That was his one sober year.
One sober year. The rest of the time, all his fights were in bars. My dad at 9, 10, and 11 would have to go to the bar, scrape them up off the floor, all 5'2" of them, and drag them back home.
Cool. But Sal,
and that, yeah,
I do need to jump off of here. Let's continue the conversation and whenever I come onto your podcast.
Totally. Let's do that.
So what do you want to, so you got things going on. Where do you want them to find you at? I know that we got to send them over to this SoundCloud. I will put that in the show notes. But no, where can they find you? I know Rebuilding Me is definitely something, but what else?
Either Linktree has everything. So the easiest way is probably if you go to the Rebuilding Me Linktree. So just Linktree/Rebuilding Me, all one word. You'll find all my links, the show links, Dorsey's links. You could go follow her on social as well and find out more about if it's something that you're struggling with, high conflict divorce and estrangement from the kids, and what commonly is known as parental alienation. That's a big one. That's some of the work that we're involved in together. And then individually, all my socials are there as well. But I'm not like necessarily the guy to follow either. So that's why I'm not concerned about it. Because like, if you want to stop by and comment on something, you may not see anything that often or that exciting, but you'll see, pieces of me in my life and that, but really Rebuilding Me is where we're having a lot of fun right now. And then Clubhouse. So, we've had some fun times in the VeeFriends Insiders, and Let's Be Friends is the other big, that's really where it all started. VeeFriends Community Club. So any of those, and I'm sure beyond in the coming months, and, once the newness of VeeFriends finally kind of, settles down and there's some opportunities to branch out. I mean, I'm sure we'll be all over it. I love Clubhouse. I think platform wise, like it's a winner all day long. That and Twitter Spaces.
All right, Sal, thank you so much, brother. Hey guys, thank you for sticking around until the very end. As always, enjoy the journey. Take care. Have a great day. Thank you so much for sticking here until the very, very end. If you wouldn't mind just leaving a comment or subscribing or liking the podcast or wherever you downloaded this, maybe it was from YouTube, I would love for that. You take an extra couple seconds to give us some more love. Even though you have listened here to the very, very end, we appreciate that so much. Could you also go over to thestarspodcast.com if you found any of this really interesting and you wanted to dive in a little bit further, or go to our Discord, which is Rocinante Studios NFT. Enjoy the journey.